special person of the week, our oldest living president. He just turned 88 this week. And his life arcs back across a lot of American history, reminding everyone of a generation that believed in duty and civility in politics. I traveled to see him at the big family home in Kennebunkport, Maine.
Going this way.
The former president on the Windy Bluff, where he has spent every summer of his 88 years. His father built this house in the early 1900s. He was raised in privilege, but with a sense of duty and respect for others. From these rocks, the 41st president watches politics from a distance. Said recently that he worries about the Republican Party and the polarization.
Well, I think that's true in some context. I mean, it gets so locked in and so right. It troubles me a little bit. But overall, I don't feel that way.
Hopeful about politics and gracious about the passage of time that has turned a former star athlete into a man with legs that are now stiff with Parkinsonism.
Big George, how are you?
But he still has his speedboat and his old best friends, one of them by his side. I read in a book once, someone wrote, "So here we are, best friends. A beautifully educated, perfectly bred, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant and a mutt from the Bronx." The self-described mutt from the Bronx is Jerry Weintraub, a show business legend behind Sinatra, Elvis, and movies like Ocean's 11, not to mention women, parties, high life. These two are complete opposites. How did this happen?
I don't know, but it happened. He gave me a life and showed me things over the past 40-some years that never in 100 million years would I have seen or been privileged to experience.
The movie producer has given his friend a kind of birthday gift, an HBO documentary called 41. In it, you see the young George Bush, at the time the youngest Navy pilot, shot down during one of his 58 combat missions in World War II. But he came back to the girl he first saw at a dance when she was 16. He was 17. Was it a dance?
Dance.
Was it a party?
I'll never forget it. Greenwich Country Club dance. Here she was in this red and green dress. I said, "Who is this good-looking girl, that beautiful girl over there?" I said, "That's Barbara Pierce from Rye, New York."
And you said she was the life of the party.
Oh, yeah, and still is. No, she still is. I'm surprised she's not here defending herself. Been here once before.
Nice to meet you. Good, how are you?
Pleasure to meet you, sir. Welcome to MCC.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about the guy next to you, and maybe Tim could, I think it's important to point out that the space station that you guys are on is, started essentially with Space Station Freedom. That was, something that President Bush started in the 1980s, and then Space Station Freedom eventually became the International Space Station that you're aboard today. So maybe Tim could tell President Bush a little bit about what the entirety of the space station. I know you can't give us a tour, but you can talk a little bit more about it.
Yeah, and I'll let him do that in a second. But President Bush, I figured since you're a Navy guy too, like me, we would just ignore the Army guy.
It's an honor to talk to you today, President Bush.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
Do that in a second, but President Bush, I figured since you're a Navy guy too, like me, we would just ignore the Army guy.
It's an honor to talk to you today, President Bush. We